It's time for today's Northern Ag TV. Well, our network's Joe Lackman and I just recently returned from the 107th Annual American Farm Bureau Federation Convention and Expo in Anaheim, California. There sure was a lot of optimism at the convention this year, where we heard updates from the American President Zippy Duvall, along with U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, and much more. While at the convention, I spoke with Todd Fornstrom, the president of the Wyoming Farm Bureau Federation, and he provided some updates from the sessions, along with just sharing the overall excitement of the national convention.
You know, every time we come to a national convention, the exciting part is getting to meet with the other farmers and ranchers from all over. You know, the recap from our opening session, really with President Duvall, really hitting on those high points of the support that we have with the administration we have is super important, and it's refreshing.
Now, Todd also noted that even though Wyoming may be one of the smallest states as far as population goes, the Wyoming Farm Bureau Federation membership continues to grow year after year.
You know, that's the exciting part, is the Wyoming Farm Bureau is continuing to add momentum when it comes to coming to these conventions and spreading out our networking capabilities. It's exciting. We went from just 3 or 4 of us 5-6 years ago to there's 23 or 4 of us this year.
The National Convention is an opportunity for county agents and the state leaders to come together and set forth the policy for the American Federation for the upcoming year. While at the convention, I also spoke with Kerin, who is the Executive Vice President of the Wyoming Farm Bureau Federation. She shared a lot of policy updates and efforts coming to the convention, and also shared one major praise, of course, the big announcement of the proposed rule for the Waters of the United States rule.
We're just absolutely excited to see this proposed rule come up with Waters of the United States. It looking to be a real durable rule, and with providing certainty for farmers and ranchers. Waters of the United States has been a ping-pong regulation for over a decade, and so it is exciting to see a rule come forth that has certainty, that says what is the federal jurisdiction for waters of the United States. It's a very important issue to us in Wyoming, but also across the nation. And so to see that rule come forth and recognizing the Sackett rule and the precedent that set at the Supreme Court, very, very important for water.
While visiting with Kerin, we also talked about Wyoming's Cowboy State Agriculture Initiative Working Group that was announced earlier last year by Governor Mark Gordon. Kerin provided an update on where the working group is sitting now that we're into the new year and what's to come.
Since we last talked in November, we have had public input, had a survey out there for citizens across the state of Wyoming to talk about what needs do they see for agriculture with this type of initiative. And so we'll actually be meeting later next week for our next meeting of the working force, but really identifying how can we make sure and address some of those needs that are out there in agriculture. And so we'll have more to come on that, looking at the endowment fund possibilities to come before the legislature. Really, one of the things that I'm excited about is the opportunity to get some funding for applied research and really focus at our land-grant university. There's a lot of amazing researchers out there and opportunities to impact on-the-ground farmers and ranchers in Wyoming, and we really need to capitalize and get back to that method where that research being done can be applied research. So an opportunity to help our farmers and ranchers in Wyoming.
Well, that's going to wrap up today's Northern Ag TV, but we'd like to thank our broadcast sponsor for providing this content, our friends at BNSF Railway.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.